And when did you decide, and what drew you to the Master of Wine qualification?
I think I was in a situation where I'd finished school, I'd gone to university, I was used to studying, working for Oddmins. We were encouraged to do the WSET exams, so I worked through and I did my diploma. And when you graduate, or certainly at that stage, when I graduated from the passing the WSET diploma, I was sent a letter inviting me to go along and see if I wanted to study for the MW. So I went along, did the day and the tests that they put you through and that sort of thing, and really quite enjoyed it. And to my enormous surprise, was accepted onto the course. You know, at that stage, you probably have you think you know a bit about wine, but you have quite a clear idea that you don't know that much. And as the course goes on, you learn more and more how little you know, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that this is a common thing that they invite WSET graduates, or was it like this just
early 1990s? I don't know whether that's still the case, but
okay, I see. Yeah, probably at that point the WSET wasn't this widespread. Today it's quite popular. So
certainly not. I don't think it has the international reach that it does these days. But
yeah. And how was the Master of Wine process when you got accepted?
Well, it was a long and frequently frustrating process, to be honest. I mean, the key to passing the Master of Wine is to actually get your head around what they're looking for. I think some people imagine that you're going to suddenly become some sort of wine Jedi, and you're going to be able to just sort of taste a wine and know immediately what it is. It's not that glamorous, unfortunately. It is a question of being systematic about your tasting and having the knowledge behind it. And I mean, the process is fantastic. I mean, there is the ability to, I think being a Master of Wine student is fantastic. There's the ability to go to wineries all around the world, introduce yourself, and people are happy to talk to you. Some fantastic people. I mean, I've spent days with people like Paul Draper at Ridge, for instance. An amazing day there tasting Zinfandels and Cabernets. I spent a day with Tony Jordan, who was the man who set up Green Point for Moet and was running Cloudy Bay and that sort of thing. So really meeting some fantastic. I don't have much in the way of language skills, so mostly English-speaking winemakers initially. But just traveling around and being treated so hospitably by this wonderful industry we work in, and learning so much. People eager to tell you what they're doing and how they've achieved that, and to talk about their regions and the great varieties they're growing, etc.
Of course,
that's fantastic. And the exam process is then much more difficult, of course. But then that involved travel as well, and I mean that took me on various trips to places I wouldn't have gone to on my own. So Germany to Bordeaux, trips like that. Trips to Hungary, Chile, South Africa. I've been very fortunate in terms of travel, and I think certainly that's the way I learn. So that was very important for me. But then I frustratingly, it took me such a long time. I mean, I actually discovered during the process that I'm dyslexic, for instance. So it was. One of the frustrating things was I passed the tasting fairly early on in the process, and then it was the written exams that I had difficulty with. So the fun bit was out of the way fairly early.
As usually I hear the opposite story. Most people say that the tasting exam is the hardest, but it's interesting that it was the other way around for you.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing, and actually, somebody once said to me, and I thought it was quite an insightful thing. I mean, one of the issues with dyslexia is the fact that it takes you longer to process your thinking and that sort of thing. So actually, the time pressure is probably greatest in the tasting papers. But I think I'd just become so systematic in the way that I was doing it that actually it became second nature.
Thanks for watching this video. You can watch the full podcast episode by clicking here, or watch another interesting video by clicking here. Let's continue the discussion in the comment section and see you in the next one.